really started when I had a conversation with one of the artists by the name of Nancy Cato. And we were just talking about we're both from other locations, we're not from San Francisco. So we really just commented on just what we noticed with artists in the community, and in particular, the Black community. The African American population has dramatically been cut. It was small. I think the largest it's ever been was like 19%. But now we're talking about, as far as African American families, they're at 3.9. That really started a dialogue where the two of us started talking, and I talked to her about the idea of really coming together to form a collective of artists. I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland, and I currently live San Francisco, Noe Valley neighborhood, and I'm right on the cusp of Noe Valley and the Mission, and that definitely informs my work and gives inspiration to my work. But I spend a lot of time in the Mission because I can walk there, and the Mission totally inspires me. I've made San Francisco my home. Artistically, things have just really blossomed here. My work, since I've moved here, tends to be, I would say, uplifting in some ways, more so. Baltimore, when I lived there, my work was considered a little more darker, a little more candid. Some people felt like it was scary at some point. The numbers were shocking, but it's more than just the numbers. I mean, I've lived, I went to school in Massachusetts. I've lived in communities where I was one of, maybe, one of very few African Americans. I was like the first African American to get his master's degree at my school, so it's not like I have not been in environments like that. I think the thing that was so shocking about San Francisco is the fact that the African American community has been in a position where so many of them have been feel as though they've been pushed out, or they've actually been pushed out. And I guess people's perception that I would be, homeless myself. It's really, it was really shocking. So I think it was more that than the numbers. Okay. What would you consider home, or things that you really long for, or maybe home could be a fantasy to you, these perceptions of what home would be like? I think for me, there is a mix of all of that. So for me, home is really that place where I feel comfort, where I feel connected to my community, where I feel of value. It's important to me not to be Donald Trump on top of the mountain, but it's important just to have some value in a community, not to be seen as a person who is an intruder, a person who is a problem, but a person who adds value, just like anybody else, just like the tech person, just like the professional doctor, the lawyer. I have just as much value, and to me, being in a community where I have the value just like they do, and it's not this hierarchy, creates home for me. So many artists inspire me. Howard Woodruff, Aaron Douglas. These are African American artists that are from the Black Renaissance, which took place in Harlem Black Renaissance. There's a artist from Austria, Klimt, who does amazing gold work. He did amazing work with paintings and gold, and that's definitely an inspiration. Antonio Gaudi, architect from Spain, Barcelona. Other things that inspire me are interest in the spirit world, my travels. I travel a lot, and really when I travel, I'm searching for those things that are uniquely that culture. I'm beginning to find it harder and harder to find places that are not trying to be like America. Don't profess to be a part of any organized religion. My grandmother was strong Catholic. These are icons that came, my grandmother lived to be 100, my grandfather lived to be 103. The reason why I'm telling you their ages is because their house became a shrine of all of this old junk. And just throughout the years, just a build-up, 4 stories of like Catholic icons, you know, like the rosary beads, I mean, just tons of stuff. So I was around this all the time. So I was trained with a lot of in a lot of mediums. I was trained as a wood carver, mixed media artist, painter. I've you know, been trained in all those areas. Furniture maker, that was what I got one of my degrees in. So I do have a variety of kind of trainings. In art school, I was taught, and I've learned that, you know, it's this concept that as an artist, you choose you choose a way to express yourself, and you do that over and over and over. So in other words, if you're a painter, you stay a painter. And your work always has to reflect that. Or if you do sculptures, a sculpture should reflect the painting, and et cetera, et cetera. I've had a hard time with that because I've had gallery people look at my work and say, well, you seem scattered, you seem like you're searching for a voice or a direction. And what I've realized now that I've gotten older, it's not I'm searching for a voice. This is my voice. Well, I have several big fears. One big fear is that I will forget the importance of defining what success as an artist is for myself. My other fear is that my work will, when I die or when I pass on, will not have value. And what I mean by value, again, that comes back to the same question. What if, you know, a huge, vast collection of it does not receive the value and it ends up in a dump or something? I mean, would never want to see that happen. That's a fear. I would not, because this is time, energy, blood, sweat, and tears in this work. So I, as an artist, would love to not only just be in a museum. It's not about being in a museum. It's about being in a museum where you're working with a curator or a registrar that really understands the life of your work. Because these pieces have a life beyond just hanging on the wall.